Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Daniel Spatz interviews Carlos Kirmayr from Brazil, former professional player, current coach, tennis legend in Brazil, in Latin America. He was sixth in the world in doubles and 36 in singles. He came to college also in the USA. So it's a pleasure to... Carlos, I'm going to send you the invite. Bingo. Let's see. Now we can connect. Carlos.
¿Qué pasó? Perdón.
Happy New Year, Carlitos.
Happy New Year to you. Yes, I don't have my whiskey here with me.
Whiskey? For
Well, it's after 1 in Brazil, you know.
you can do it. You can do it. Water, breakfast, coffee, and or water for me.
Yeah,
Okay,
same here.
Carlos.
Same
Thank
here.
you. Thank you so much. It's the third time that I'm having you on my podcast. The first two were in Spanish. You look amazing, man. You look younger than in compared with 2020.
Well, I teach a lot of tennis, you know, and I teach a lot of plastic surgeons. So we exchange tennis classes for plastic surgeries.
It's a joke or it's true?
That's a joke.
Okay. Because you have a good, Carlos, sense of humor. How important is for a tennis coach having a good sense of humor?
Well, it's not only tennis coaches. I think people should have a good sense of humor because since life is not easy, it's not that sense of humor. You're joking about life, but you're looking at life with a smile and looking at good things and laughing at it. Yeah, and because if you're gonna take everything seriously, I believe you suffer a little bit more than the ones that smile. So joke. Well, with moderation, of course. You cannot joke your life away, but yeah, have fun, enjoy, laugh at yourself, laugh at things. I think it's a good challenge.
How do you welcome the 2026? Your family, everybody good, everybody healthy?
Well, thank God, who I have to thank, of course. My family as well, my wife, my daughter who lives in Vancouver as well with her family. My son who goes to school in Georgia is here spending the Christmas vacation with us, with his girlfriend, and we saw some family. We gathered at the 24th of December with family and the 31st, and we're starting our activities again. I have a group of people here training this week, and then I start the summer clinics on Monday. So it's back to being busy, starting well the year, busy.
Carlos, yeah, you have been in tennis for so many years as a player, a college a player, a professional player. You were one of the best in the world in doubles. Singles 36 was also amazing achievement. Um, but what keeps you every morning, man, motivated when you wake up to go to the tennis courts?
Well, it's something that happened many years ago, about 70 years ago. I fell in love with tennis, and it's something that if you're in love, you're in love, and you enjoy what you do. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the challenges. I enjoy the new things that are coming all the time. Especially with the new way of communication. So many people posting things, and some good, some not so good, some excellent, some terrible, and it's up to me to judge what I should use. But the things that I'm not going to use, I'm not going to use. But there's so many good things. There's so many good people working and studying and putting a lot of time into becoming better coaches and players and orientators. So it's been fun. It's been a lot. It's been fun to follow so many good minds, so many good people teaching us there, which is great.
What do you still enjoy watching when you're talking about the social media, the coaches posting and offering advice? What exactly is still attracting you when you look at this content?
Your interviews, your interview, you pick great people to to
Thanks.
to talk to, and to pull their tongues, and make them speak, and pick on them, and discover their secrets, and their positioning, and their discoveries, and their fails. Everything is so rich, and so I enjoy uh, you know seeing nonsense as well. Laugh at it. And unfortunately, not too many people have the judgment to know what is good and what's bad. So that's why the bad advices, they survive. The people that are giving bad advices, they survive because they're people that don't have experience or the knowledge to filter what is really interesting to bring to your own life.
Carlos, I want to take you to the court coaching, then also talking about Gabriela Sabatini, even though we did it in our first previous interviews in Spanish, but now it's for English speaking.
Sure.
Hey, before you answer this question, but this is a conversation, not an interview.
Sure.
Um, what do you what do you taught Gabriela Sabatini in the mental part? Because Gabriela said that she didn't feel well in before the Grand Slam she played, but thanks to you, your advice, your guidance, your emotional support, of course, your technical coaching, she was able to overcome all the tension, anxiety, pressure that she felt. Can you share with us, if you remember, some of the secrets or advices that you gave to Gabi back then?
Well, it was we had two periods together. We have the first period that started around May, June of 1990, which lasted until January, approximately end of the Australian Open of 1993. So we got to know each other. We had a 3-year period, almost a 3-year period of very intense association. We, you know, once you coach a person, a player, on a one-on-one basis, the relationship is very intense because you are with the person a great part of the day. Whether is eating, whether is practicing, whether is sometimes socializing, because you are the companion. Before, it wasn't, like on her situation today. If she was she if she were she if she was playing today, she probably would have a bigger uh, uh, team. You know, probably a full-time traveling physical trainer, which did not happen then. Sometimes her physical trainer was with her. She did not have physio. Now, the top 8, 10 players, they have physios traveling with them, which is the physio is not only a physio, he's a companion. If the physio was not there, only the coach would be there. So that she's not playing, or she's not. And then other people that come today, you look at Alcaraz entourage. Now, you look at his box, there are 15 people. His family, most of the time with him. And so there's a lot of extra support. And that time then, there wasn't this this kind of support, the warmth of friends, of family members, or at one time she did travel with her dad, her uncle, her mom, her aunt, her brother, his friend. She did have that, but that also, it was a little bit different. She needed she at one point she needed to get away from that. She needed to be alone for a while. Not alone, but without family to bloom. She needed to be herself, not the daughter of, or the Osvaldo or Beatriz or brother Osvaldinho. Anyway, what I trying to answer your question. What I try to do, first of all, is get to know what would make her enjoy uh, something besides her real heavy involvement with tennis, because she was heavily, not her, but everybody that was playing at the time, heavily, or that plays tennis. You're heavily involved, but you need escapes. You need things that will keep your mind busy, not thinking about tennis, opponents, training, or schedule, whatever. Sponsors, interviews, all the things that come with being a star. So, having gone through as a tennis player, not as famous, of course, not as glamorous as her life was, but I had, I had the experience. So, I knew how to uh, use my time doing different things. And that's, I think, one thing that I think I helped a little bit, or that I uh, put in her life too, to see other things, to have a deviation of that focus in one, on tennis and physical training, and her professional life. She needed a private life, a social life of her own. And I think I helped a little bit. I think that part was, I think that was very important at the time.
Yeah, but she said that looks sounds basic, but she said before Wimbledon 1991, after winning the U.S. Open, unforgettable 1990 against Steffi Graf, she said that she didn't feel well before Wimbledon. She wasn't playing well. She was tense, but somehow she talked to you, and you just told her, according to Gabi, just play your game, go out, be aggressive, go to the net, have fun. And that was enough. She went all the way to the finals and 2 points away to win the Wimbledon, become number one in the world. Are you there, Carlos? Are you listening? Oh, we lost the communication. Carlos, are you back?
Yeah, are you back? Am I back? Yeah.
Yes.
You see
So I
me?
was, yes, of course.
Good.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay. The question was, what was the last thing that you heard? Because I don't want to go
No,
over.
no. That she mentioned that she was not confident going into Wimbledon, and that after a conversation that we had, she relaxed and played her tennis.
Yeah,
And
but she said that you just told her go out, have fun, be
yeah,
aggressive, go to the net. Look, sounds easy. Look like anyone can say that, but for Gabi, coming from you was more than enough.
yeah.
So my question is, uh, no question, is thinking, and I want to hear you, of course, your opinion. Sometimes easy things, basic things, have more impact than complicated, sophisticated stuff, right?
Well, by that time, she had won Wimbledon or the U.S. Open. So we built a relationship of confidence and trust. So she, whatever I had to say, she started to trust my point of view, which is not automatic when you meet somebody. You you kind of have to prove yourself right, so the person starts to uh, understand or follow or uh, not obey, but accept and act as. Uh, Obviously, before Grand Slams, you get tight because you want to perform. You want to perform, especially having won one. Well, I'm one of the possible candidates, you know, but that's not going to fall in my lap. That I'm going to have to work for it. And she was playing great tennis. She was playing. She started to understand some of her opponents' tactics. That she was not gonna play her game. Period. She had to play games that didn't fit the opponents, and she had tools for it. She could slice, she could stay back, she could put heavy top spin, she could chip and charge, she could serve and volley eventually. So she had more tools than most of the other players did. You know, she had more tools than Steffi. She had more tools than Celis. She had more tools than Arancha, but there were players that could beat her because if you don't use them properly, if you're not obedient tactically, the match might go away. Which I saw them some go away because she was not so focused in doing what she had to do, and that's normal. Players do that, and they get into uh, more or less depending upon the players. But that's what happened, and she understood that she was playing well, and I said, well, look, do what you have to do. If there's something that does not work out right, blame it on me.
Right,
But,
Carlos, let me ask you this. You talk about being organized tactically. What tactics you were? And remember, I will ask you the same in a coffee, in an airport, in your office. These questions. I don't think this is an special questions for you because everybody's listening. Uh, so, what patterns or specific tactics you advised to Gavi to follow?
against who?
I don't know if he. No, that is a good question. Do you teach her specific tactics to do against anyone, anywhere, or okay, okay,
Specific. She
perfect.
had she had a uh, for example, she before the U.S. Open, she had played Steffi 15 times, and she had won one
Wow.
one match. It was 14-1. That was her head-to-head. The matches before the U.S. Open. That was the head-to-head. After the U.S. Open, because of understanding how to play Steffi, she won 7 out of 10.
Ah,
That's a big turnaround in my view, because Steffi was exceptional competitor, very very tough. And what she had to do against Steffi was something that only she could do of all the other players. She had to take Steffi out of the court on the forehand side with her backhand down the line, heavy topspin. because Steffi liked to play 3/4 of the court, hitting forehands, eventually hitting a backhand slice. And she stayed there and she moved well. But once you took her open on her forehand with a high ball on her forehand that she could not attack, she was not into the court, she was 1 or 2 meters behind the baseline. Whatever Steffi hit back, Gabby would have to go to the net. Period. Am I going to get past? Yeah, eventually.
But
Three
Carlos,
times.
let me ask you: what if Steffi played the forehand cross court towards
So,
Gabby's forehand? What Gabby have to do? Deep, deep.
well, hit, try to volley it before it bounced because she took her out and she was not going to attack her. And if it was a great forehand, okay, start the point again. But if the ball falls a little bit short, you go into the net with a
Oh.
backhand, with a forehand, whatever, and let Steffi pass you, which is not going to happen because she does not have a backhand passing shot. She had a slice, she had a lob, she faked a top spin backhand, which she didn't have. She she was going to lose some points, but she was going to win the majority of points. And that's but she had to come into the net. She could not stay back running after the balls that Steffi made her run because Steffi made everybody run a lot with
And
her
this is
forehand.
what Steffi was doing to Gabby before the US Open.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what Steffi did to everybody. That was her game. She served and started to hit forehands, and her forehand was
Yeah, we have some
it was not even was that
we lost the connection, Carlos, again. And now say it again.
okay.
The forehand. You were talking about Steffi's forehand.
Yeah, she had a almost an Eastern forehand. It was more like
Mm.
looked more like a continental, a little bit Easternized forehand, and she could, put some top spin, which was good. Her slice was great, but it was not a passing shot. She could move you around with the slice. So this was the game plan that Gabby used those 10 times that she played against Graf when I coached her,
Even in Wimbledon in the finals.
even in Wimbledon. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That,
regardless, the plan was regardless the surface, clay,
yeah.
hard, grass, any surface,
Yeah.
indoors. Okay. Same. How about serving? Serving to Steffi's forehand or serving to Steffi's backhand?
Well, that's another story. Serving in the box.
No double faulting.
Well, that's something interesting. I'll tell you a little story about that because she had some tough opponents. And one of them was Yana Novotna.
Oof.
Yana Novotna was a mini Martina Navratilova.
Mm.
She did exactly the same game, but she was right-handed. And every time Gabby played against Novotna was a battle because anything that Gabby hit, Novotna would slice and come in. And Gabby had to hit unbelievable passing shots to win. And she won most of the matches. But they were all 3 sets, 6-4 in the third. It was always tough.
Mm.
And she was getting ready to play Novotna at the US Open. And we were in the car going to the club. And I said, look, for some reason, uh, she had in her mind that double fault was a sin.
Mm.
So she would do anything but double faulting. So she would put anything on the court, but not a double fault. So the serve was 80 kilometers an hour, but she did not double fault. So I said to her, look, you're going to do this. You're going to force her second serve. If you don't, she's going to come out, she's going to be all over you. She's going to come to the net all the time. And I prefer a courageous double fault than a chicken second serve. She didn't understand. She didn't like the idea. And I said, look, and if you hear somebody in the crowd clapping, if you do, a courageous double fault is me. She double faulted 13 times, and she never beat Novotna so easy.
So she was going for the second serve more.
He went for the second serve. One of the guys that double faulted the most in the men's circuit at his time was John McEnroe. Why? Because if he didn't double fault, he was going to put a good second serve in, but he couldn't come in. So he had to push his second serve, attack his second serve, running the possibility or the risk of double faulting, but he was not going to get a clean winner back. If he double faulted, fine, he could lose the point anyway. But if he pushed, he had a chance of winning the point.
You mean serving harder, faster?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was something that changed her mind a little bit because man, I got calls from India, from Pakistan, from Canada, people saying, look, I'm an expert in the service motion and biomechanics, and I would like to help. My telephone number. I said, fine, good, thank you. Because everybody knew that her serve was not her big weapon. And she had a good technique. She had power. She had big, she was strong. She could serve hard, but it was
mental.
It was a more of a mental. How do I go into the serve? What kind of mentality I have? A courageous or a coward? Am I going to
you told Gabi that?
Yeah. And that match was a turning point, temporarily, I would say. Most of the time she would understand, but she needed to be reinforced of that.
Perfect, Carlos. Was fantastic stories. I love it. Talking about you as a player, you played in the era of Connor, Sport, Vilas, Orantes, so many great players. Then we have the Lendls, the Sampras, Beckers, Edbergs. So then the Djokovic, Nadal, Federer. Tell us, share with the audience, they would love to hear from you. What separates the champions, the mentality of the champions with the rest of the players? Fantastic players, all good players, but they can't achieve somehow the greatness of the great champions. What characteristic mental traits they have compared with the other ones?
Well, if I knew the answer, I would write a book and be a rich man. Trust me.
But you can write it. Why not?
No, well.
No, but you were, Carlos. You were playing. You saw those guys across the net as a player and as a coach. What they transmit, what they have and different with compared with the other ones.
Well, first of all, I think they were that small percentage more focused.
Okay. I'm taking notes.
They were, everybody's focused. Everybody's focused. There's a story about Ayrton Senna that he was the only driver at his time that lived in the south of the equator. He was the rest. They lived in Europe, in other countries, but none lived in. And before the season started, he stayed. He had a house near Rio, Angra dos Reis, and he trained there. And that the conditions were very hot, and his physical trainer was very tough. So when the season started, the first race started, and there were the 20 cars ready to go, he was very confident that he said, I look at those 19 other drivers, and I know that I'm the best fit driver in this race. That's how he started the race. And that confidence, gave him a lot of credit for the for what he did, for his story as a driver. And I believe if you go Vilas, great player. Why? He was fitter than the others. Nadal, fitter than the rest. Because anybody that stepped on the court with Nadal and said, I'm in for a big fight because this guy is not going to give up. And he proved that. How many matches he won just because he refused to lose because he was so fit. And he said, I can last longer than this guy. I know that. And once you have that confidence, the physical confidence, and then you have the technical confidence, like Federer. Okay, I have to go for the shot. I'll go for the shot. Why? I practice so much, so many times, and I know that if I hit the shot and I make it, I might win. But if I don't go for this shot, I will not win. Oh, but if I lose, I lose. If I miss the shot, I lose. Yeah, that's a risk. But the guy is so confident that he hits the line. That's the confidence that I felt that Lendo had, Borg had, Borg had the same confidence like Vilas or Nadal have, as the physical fitness that they could last longer, and they would go for the shots, and
So they
Sampras.
have the courage, right? The courage to do
They
it.
have the courage. They have the courage, and and it's not a fake courage. It's not a bluff. They practice a lot what they had to do. Oh,
And
he served
Carlos,
and
Carlos,
volley.
Carlos, can we teach that to junior players?
Well, I think we can try. I think we can talk to them about it.
How do you
I
how do you how do you approach that topic to when you talk about courage to your junior players, visitors, campus, uh, personal players you coach? What do you tell them to have more courage in matches?
uh, I believe in a tactic faith, or
Tactic
be
faith.
faithful. Be
Okay.
faithful with what the tactics uh, that you have to do. Okay, this match I have to do this. This is the tactics. So I'm gonna do that. If I lose, it's fine. Or if I miss, I go back to the court and I practice the shots that I have to make. So you understanding tactics, understanding the opponents, understanding and being faithful. This is a down the line. Oh but my down the line today is not working so well, so I'm gonna hit a cross court just because I'm gonna make the cross court. The down the line, I'm not so sure, but you should have gone down the line. Oh, but I was not so confident. Well, okay, that's not being tactically faithful. And once you understand tactics, and you understand what you have to practice, and you are faithful to what was taught with the coach, or what you understand you have to do during the match. You have to serve both serves hard, because you have to serve and volley. If you pop a second serve in, you're gonna lose the point. No, but I'm not gonna double fault. So you don't double fault, you lose the point three balls later. But you're gonna lose. Maybe if you do two first serves and play with the guy, maybe you win. But if you don't, you just put it in. Oh, but the match is gonna take 3 hours, but you're gonna lose. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think the tactical understanding
Yeah,
of
but Carlos, how do you? I'm guessing that every player is different, right?
sure.
So your job is what, to discover what they like to do, what the preferences are, strength, weaknesses, to develop their personal tactics.
Yeah, you cannot uh, you cannot ask your player to serve and volley if he doesn't know how to serve and volley. Even though serve and volley would be the type of game to beat that player, but if your player does not know how to serve and volley, then so you have to understand also, or first of all, who your player is, and what he's able to do, and and how his little army is going to be able to fight the other army. You have a cannon or you have a knife, you you bite, you put your finger in both eyes. How do you win? What do you have? Show me your tools, show me your arms. And then after, and you know as well as me, we work with juniors, we work with intermediate players a lot, and they're limited. you know and they are so limited that you said, the square, get it in and run
Yeah, that's
and
it.
run. Yeah. And then, you're getting a little bit better. When it comes here, you hit down the line and you come in. But I don't know how to volley. That's all right. Don't worry about volleying, but do that. If it comes to your close to you and you can volley, try to volley. If you miss, that's okay. No, don't worry about it. We'll worry about the volley later. And of course we're talking here about top level tennis. Yeah, and they know how to do. They have all the tools. They have all the arms. They have all the guns and stuff, and so it's easier to use a full strategy, because you have so many possibilities. And how many players are we going to coach that level?
Yeah. So with junior players, it's more basic, right? Be consistent. What it move, run for every ball, right? But Carlos, uh, nowadays everybody hits the ball so hard. It's hard. It's difficult for me as an spectator to understand the tactics nowadays because everything goes so fast and looks like they just hit the ball hard, both women's and men's. What is your point about tennis today, right? Compared with the tennis in your days, where before were more tactical, more thoughtful game. Now it's just power, power, power.
Yeah, yeah. Today is more power, and you have to train so much, prepare early. I think that's the phrase that I use the most, or I've been using the most the last
Frequent.
40 years. 40 years is prepare early, prepare early, prepare early. No, 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 prepare early. Because why? Because the better you get, the faster the ball comes back.
Hmm.
So if you don't create the habit of preparing early, anticipating, you're gonna lose too many points, and consequently you're gonna lose a lot of matches. But let's say technically or tactically, uh, what we try to do with juniors is, good. A good what the Spaniards do when they teach kids in on clay. Have a great kick, have a great kick. Oh no, I want to hit a big first serve. Forget it. Big kick and move your opponent around. You know, 2 meters above the net
Yeah.
and run. That's junior players playing on clay. Great Argentinian players, great uh, Spanish players, Italian players. I think they're mixing surfaces on the the bringing them up. They're I think they're mixing a lot in the states, mainly hard courts. So the game is taught and played in a different way, even though the clay courts or the hard courts are a little bit slower these days, but still is not clay.
Yeah.
So
Carlos, Brazil has, since Maria Esther Bueno, you, Mandarino, Thomas Cox, going forward on scenes, Meligeni, Guga, uh, Monteiro, Bellucci, now
Matar.
Fonseca,
Mhm.
Matar, Casio Mota, great players. How is the status of Brazilian tennis today? Women's and men's professionals.
I believe we're going through a good moment. First with Beatriz Haddad. She's been doing a great job, uh, winning a lot of matches, learning how to play. So she's done a lot. She got to the top 10 or got to the top 10,
Mm.
winning big tournaments, good matches. So there was a lift for Brazilian tennis. And now Monteiro, he won the US Open Juniors. He's been doing well. He won in Buenos Aires. He won Buenos Aires last year, beating five. Oh, Fonseca, sorry.
Fonseca.
Sorry.
That's
Fonseca,
right.
excuse me. Winning Buenos Aires and beating five Argentinian
Yeah.
stars.
Oh, we lost.
Buenos Aires, yeah, unbelievable. And then having a great year, winning two more tournaments, and especially Fonseca is getting a lot of attention from the press, from the public. A lot of kids wanting to play tennis. Not like Guga yet, of course not. Guga won 3 Grand Slams, so Fonseca is not, it's not even anything yet, but a possibility. And and the reporters and the news and the media, they build up expectations. Hopefully, something good will happen. It's already happening, but how far can he go? We don't know. We have a couple of good girls, young girls, 15, 16, doing well, already playing, getting a lot of attention too. We have another good junior boy, but we always had good juniors. Brazil had
Yeah, but
always,
Carlos, yeah, but
yeah.
Carlos, let me ask you this. Eduardo Infantino, you know him, right, Eduardo? In
Just saw
our
your last interview with him. Great man. Good,
yeah,
good,
but I
very.
wanna ask you what he said about interesting analyzing the South American status in tennis. Said we are not in the last 20 years we are not producing as many players as we did in the past. Great players like Gomez, Villas, Pecci, Arias, you name it, Gildemeister, Filiol, you name it, Gonzalez, Masu, Lapenti, the Colombians. Why Argentinians? Actually, we don't have a top 10 player anymore. Uh, what is your take about that? Why we don't have, as top like we used to have from South America, top 10 Grand Slam champions, number one in the world. Guga was number one. Rios, Villas was number. I mean, we have so many.
One.
Gomez was number four.
Clerc.
And Nalbandian, you name it. So Lapenti was number five. Why? What is happening right now? Is just the money within the financial? Is not good coaching? Maybe I don't know. What is your point, Carlos?
Good question. I haven't really thought about that because it is a fact. In 30 years we had an army of excellent players, and I think Italy has come up with something different. I believe good coaching and a lot of tournaments close by where players can play a lot. We live far away from where tennis is being played. It's expensive and more expensive because being a professional tennis player has become much more expensive than it was before. Before, I travel alone, Cano travel alone, Vilas travel alone, everybody travel alone. Okay. Today, number 200 from Russia or from Italy, from Spain, he travels with his coach. And a player from South America, I have to travel alone. Or coach and more people, I don't know.
Because of the financial situation.
Yeah, the financial situation is one of the reasons also what it makes it difficult. But at the same time, uh, there are a lot of players playing. They are just not making it.
Yeah, but that's the question. Why? Because the distance was the same, Carlos. You have to. Brazil didn't. The country was always Argentina, Chile in the bottom of the
So,
world.
what did Infantino say?
What? Sorry.
What did Infantino say?
Oh, he said that
The
is
reason. The reason.
something wrong in the things not going probably in the teaching thing overall. That is not making us many. That he overall he said we have better, great teachers, great coaches in the past compared with the ones that we have. Great minds, I don't know. It's everybody has their own opinions. Because
Well,
money, Argentina always have issues financially. It's not new. But I don't know Brazil. But
well, you're saying this, and something came to my mind, which is a fact. Uh, Great coaches uh, don't want the lifestyle that is necessary to stay on the tour a number of years with their coaches. Doesn't matter how much money they make, because some make good money, great money, but just a few, and the others, because once you're a coach, good coach, but you're married, you have a clientele, you have a job, you maybe work in a club, you have an academy, but you have a clientele that makes your life good. So you have your wife, you have your kids going to school, you you spend the weekend with them. That's a fact. And where does a coach that is motivated and and committed do on the weekends 35 weeks a year when they're on the road? If they're single, fine. If they're married and have kids, they think 5 times before they accept a job with a good player because it's tough. I'll tell you, the being a tennis player is tough. Being a tennis coach on the road, you know. Did you see? Did you see? What's Alcaraz's manager's name?
Uh, and I don't know, Molina, I think. Alcaraz. Molina, I think. Yeah.
You know, on Alcaraz's Netflix 3 shot. You know, did you see that? Did you see Alcaraz's documentary?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, the manager, he's not even the coach. Well, to be Carlos's manager, I spent my daughter's birthday away, my wife's birthday away,
Oh, we lost
because
again.
I'm taking care of Carlos. I'm not even the coach. So it has to be worthwhile to have such a big job and such a responsibility. And it's not too many. You have 200 players, men, and 200 women. So we're talking about 500 coaches, which there are so many, more than 500 coaches wanting the job. So the guys that want to do this job, I wouldn't call it a dirty job, but it's a difficult job, are the ones that want, no, I want to be on the road. I want to be with a player, and maybe they're not as qualified as the ones that are not taking the job.
Oh, yeah, but if you, it's a great point. But looking at the players, Carlos, the players level, players, forget about the coaches. When you compare our players, right, Argentinian, Brazilians, Chileans, Garin, Jarry, with the Europeans, Americans, how are we right now? Are we have the, technically, tactically, you like what you see from our players?
Well, the game is not suited for clay court specialists anymore. There were, the time where South Americans or Latin Americans players did well was when there were more clay court tournaments around the world.
Mm.
You know, uh, check how many clay court big events are in the world, and that used to be, you know.
And sorry, Carlos, and you also have the clay courts in USA before, remember?
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
they don't
One,
exist anymore. They don't.
even the U.S. Open
Oh yeah,
was
exactly.
American clay. How
Exactly.
true. Maybe I'm just guessing. Maybe that's one of the reasons
So we don't
why.
have, great point. So we don't have probably enough hard courts in South America, right? To have the kids training.
No, hardcourt is not part of our culture. The club. The hundreds of clubs that there are in South America, because there are a lot of tennis clubs. There are clay.
Even in Brazil,
But
Carlos? Brazil too?
yeah, yeah.
Why they don't build some hard courts? Members don't want it?
Well, it's not part of the tradition. A club that's a club considered a tennis club has clay courts.
But how about
Hard
academies?
courts.
Private academies,
Yeah,
Carlos?
academies you have more hard courts because it's cheaper to build. A hard court is more expensive, but you don't have the maintenance. And in South America, maintenance of a clay court, it's much cheaper than in the States. You know,
Yeah.
anything that's it's labor in the States is well paid.
Mm.
In South America, the minimum salary is ridiculous, and you find people to do it. So clay court, you have the best clay courts, and they're beautiful, and they're softer on your knees and your hips and your whatever. The adults, because tennis is not high performance. Tennis is social. Who plays in a club with 20 courts? People over 35, 40 years of age, and the courts is theirs from 12 to 2, and don't come around wanting to play in my court because it's my court. So,
Carlos, how is tennis in Brazil? Futebol, soccer, football is the first, of course, world champions 5 times, the number one country in the history, and it is 5 times world champions. Um, what is tennis? If you have to establish a rank in sports of in Brazil, what do you put tennis? Which position you place tennis?
I wouldn't know. I would not know. Well, first, unfortunately, culturally, sport is not a main priority of our culture, our government. So you only find sport, except soccer, in clubs and private academies. If you want to play volleyball, okay, volleyball, you have school. The school has a volleyball court, and some schools, or a basketball court, or a five soccer. How do you say it? Salon. The small soccer ball, and
Yeah,
it's the size of a
indoor,
tennis
indoor,
court.
indoor soccer, indoor soccer,
Well,
indoor
okay, indoor
football.
soccer,
Yeah.
indoor soccer. Otherwise, tennis it's very exclusive.
And
It's
it's
in tennis clubs.
expensive, tennis in Brazil, Carlos?
We for our population, yes.
Hmm.
For the population of the country, yes. It's inaccessible.
Oh,
One can of balls, a can of balls may cost $12.
$12.
3 balls.
3 balls.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Or maybe $10, because we are heavily taxed because we
Ah.
don't make balls. So whatever is imported and it's sports, it's heavily taxed.
And how was in
Rackets.
your time when you played? Was as expensive as it is today?
I would think so. I would think so because I learned how to play tennis in a private club. It was the clubs in South America. They're big clubs. They have soccer, they have swimming pool, they have basketball, they have everything. It's 3,000 families, and that's their garden, that's their backyard, the club. They go Saturday, Sunday, they spend at the club, and that's how it. And I was raised. I would go to the club every weekend. That's where we socialized. That's where we did our family things, was at the club. And still clubs, and there are no parks, there are no public courts, tennis courts. So it's not easy access. If you want to rent a court, you may pay $10 or $50 an hour of court. It's
50.
like Yeah, if you go to São Paulo, an indoor court, you
Indoors.
probably, yeah, indoors with lights, depending at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe even more, because
And
that's the time where the CEO of I don't know where he wants to play, and he pay what's $50 for him. So
Carlos, a tennis coach, can I make a good living coaching tennis in Brazil?
define good living.
Having a car, the chances to buy a long time, financially house, apartment, eating outside a restaurant once a week, twice a week, buying some nice clothes, traveling once a year for vacation outside of the country or inside the beautiful Brazil, 2 or 3 weeks of vacation, good school for the kids if they have kids.
Few, a few, a few coaches have that kind of life. Not all of them.
I mean, how they survive, the other
No,
ones.
teaching, not teaching. They survive teaching. The 1 hour of coaching in the interior of
Mm.
Brazil is one price, and if you're able to work in São Paulo, you're gonna make much more money, but you're gonna spend more money too. So it depends, and depends what kind of mind the coach has. There are some coaches that are, secure with their money, and they're organized, and there are others, just like
Yeah,
anywhere in the
anybody,
world.
like any activity.
Yeah, and sometimes you see, wow, that guy is a tennis coach and he's done well. His family, his kids, and he opened a little shop and he strings rackets and he
Oh, we lost again the. Oh,
okay.
can you hear
We're
me?
back. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
Carlitos, it's 2 p.m. in Brazil. Do you have lunch already or not yet?
I did have lunch. I did have lunch. Yes,
Okay,
you probably should be getting
breakfast.
well. You're gonna have breakfast. You are 5 hours behind.
5 hours behind. I already
You
had my
okay?
coffee. Yeah.
You had her
So,
coffee.
Carlos,
Good. Good.
I
Good.
wanna
Yes.
I wanna finish with a ping pong, quick, eh? Short questions and short answers. It's gonna be fun. Uh, your best win in singles. The most important win in singles.
Well, won't be so fast. My answer, because the other day I was looking at the ranking, end of the year ranking of 1981. 20 players. I beat 10 out of those 20 players.
But tell us some names.
Okay. I beat McEnroe. I beat Lendl. I beat Tanner. I beat Orantes. I beat Panata. I beat Gottfried. I beat Clerc. Uh,
Carlos, I'm leaving. Bye. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
but I lost to them too,
No, no,
But
no, 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 no. I talk about the victories. Okay, your biggest frustration as a player.
no frustration.
Okay.
No frustration.
Um, the most difficult player that you have played against, who was? Oh, we lost again. I hope he. Oh, Carlos, we are back. Have you heard the question?
Yes, the most difficult player that I played was Guillermo Vilas. I played him 13 times and never beat him
Quick, quick. Why he was so difficult for you?
because our games never didn't match. What I did, my best, was not enough to beat him. He,
And
he
you
had
never,
he
you
had
never adjusted. You never changed.
there was no way to adjust. I beat him. I played him on every surface. Lost to him in the fifth set, the third set, tight hours of tennis, and I never beat him.
Uh, your biggest achievement as a tennis coach?
Um, I think coaching, being able to be on the tour as a tennis coach, learning a lot from each player. That was my biggest achievement, which I use all the time. You know, the things that I learned from Gabriela, Arancha, Conchita,
Mm.
Nicolas, Piolín, and Luis Matara, and all the players that I coach today. You know, the kids that I'm coaching now, and that I send to college, and they're doing well, and they're not becoming tennis players, but they're becoming good citizens. That's my biggest happiness with the profession that I chose.
Any frustration as a tennis coach?
No.
Okay. Quick answer. Main difference between coaching women's and men's. What it is?
I don't coach men or women. I coach individuals, and individuals are one of a kind. I know women that are very tough, and I coach men that are not so tough, not to say soft. So I don't think there's a rule. Men is like this and women is like that. I think each individual has to be uh, understood, see how they function, and from that understanding, I will make my plan how to help them be the best player possible.
The best service you have ever seen in men's and in women's?
Men's, I don't know if the best that I played against or that I've seen.
Seen or playing? Both.
Well, I think Federer was a great serve executor. He didn't have the best power in the world, but he had placement, so he was very bright serving.
And I have a question for the audience, Marga. The best for you. Thank you so much. Kiki, if you were not a tennis player and coach, what would you be? A musician? Because I know you love music.
Well, that's something that I had to stop at a young age. Uh, to follow my tennis dreams, to go to America, go to college. I had to stop playing music the way I played when I was growing up. Some music, something that I like. I don't know if it would have been my profession, but it's something that I probably would have done more than I did. Perhaps, I don't know.
And going back to the players, the best forehand. I know women serve. You didn't answer
Women
women.
serve. Well, I have been seeing Zabalenka serve. She's serving. She improved her serve a lot. And her first serve is very fast, very very hard. Uh, I just by looking on TV and a couple of times live, but you know it
Look
would
at
be difficult to
and,
say.
and the times that you coach Gabby Sabatini, who was the best server in women's tennis?
I think Lindsay Davenport.
Davenport. Perfect.
I think.
Um, quick, random. Djokovic or Bjorn Borg? You have to choose one.
I think it's well. Which one I like the
No,
most
no,
because
yeah, no,
there's no
no, no. Who
comparison.
was the
No, there's no
best for
comparison.
you? Who do you?
No,
Who do
there's
you?
no who I like better.
Yes.
Oh, I admire a lot Djokovic for many reasons.
Okay, Djokovic or Nadal?
I prefer Nadal.
Nadal or Federer?
Who?
Federer. Nadal or Federer?
What? Nadal or
Federer.
Federer? Federer.
Federer or Guga? I put you in a difficult spot.
Guga is a friend. Yes.
Guga or Marcelo Rios?
Guga. Good.
Okay, I don't want to go over because it's a tough situation for Villas or Connors.
Vilas. Vilas.
Villas.
With Guillermo, we have just about the same age. We went into the tour together. We shared rooms together. We shared uh, trains and cars and buses together. So we have a past together. So I love him a lot.
Uh, Serena Williams or Steffi Graf?
Steffi
Steffi. Celes or Graf?
Graf.
Ah, Paul Forsyth, my friend says Graf. Okay, okay. Oh, I love that. One more related with the women, Celes or Aranza Sanchez?
Arancha is a sweetheart. I coach her, and she's a beautiful woman. Very good girl.
To finish, Carlos, I'm very grateful to you. I hope you had a good time. I
Very
love
good.
it, man. I love it. I love it. You're great. And more importantly, wonderful person. Always answering the messages immediately, very respectfully. I very appreciate that. I want to say that in public. You are a true gentleman.
Thank you.
We need people like you in the sport. More Kirmayrs. Any regrets in your tennis career? Something that you regret you could have done better?
Yeah, I could have done it better. I was naive. Uh, I was so happy to be doing that because when I decided to, I finished college in '72, and I went to travel. And in 1972, to be able to travel, it was something very special. Nobody did that. Only bums, only bums, tennis bums. That's what we were. We sold lunch to buy dinner. That's how we survived. But we survived doing that because we loved that. We loved the lifestyle. We loved being 1 week in different places. Didn't matter where we slept or what we ate, but we wanted to play tennis. We wanted to see a new club. We wanted to see a new city, meet new people. It was not about money. You know, I was not raised to be a tennis champion. I was not raised to be a player. I was a tennis player by chance. I went to college in the States because that's what I wanted to do, and then an opportunity appeared in my life. I started to play good tennis my third year of college. I got into the Davis Cup team. That gave me a little bit of money. That gave me a little bit of hope. That put me into tournaments just because I was a Davis Cup player from Brazil, because we wrote letters, we lied a lot. I beat this and that. Nobody could check. There was nowhere to check. There was no
No,
ATP,
no, no social media.
no social media, nothing. So, and accepted to play there and there. They gave me breakfast, and what was the pay? There was no money, and we did it because we really loved the lifestyle, to be able to play tennis, to see the world, and I'm gonna do this as long as I can. And But if I entered, like, who entered with a different mindset? Jimmy Connors, Borg, Vilas. They said, no, no, no. I'm gonna do this as a profession. I'm gonna do this because it's my career. I had no idea. I studied marketing and physical education. I was ready to come back to Brazil and work. You know, but suddenly I beat Tanner in college. He was one of the best players in the States.
For people who don't know, Roscoe Tanner was the biggest server in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah,
Lefty, right?
yeah. Lefty. He had the fastest serve at the time.
Yeah.
So I started to play good tennis. So I started to be noticed. As I said, I got into the Davis Cup team, and the rest was, I became a snowball. going down the hill, and everything just grew. Let me roll.
Fantastic. The
Let me roll.
lifestyle, like Paul Forza said, you gotta love the lifestyle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Carlos, to finish, give any junior player listening, boy or girl, when they are nervous, feeling a lot of pressure, tension, anxiety before the match, what advice you will give it to them before the match? They look so nervous. What would you tell them?
Well, there are some tricks that you can do to relax a little bit. One of them is uh, get out of air. Run and get the blood going. Get the the blood circulating. Change your heartbeat. That's one thing. And one thing that not only happens before the match, but it happens during the match is, what is your game plan? What is your game plan? What are you going to do? Do you have things clear in your mind? What are you going to do? Did you train them? Because, the other day I heard something fantastic by one of those. Uh, the match that you're playing today, you won or lost 3 months ago.
What do you mean by that? I mean, because they didn't prepare.
Exactly.
Perfect, 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 fantastic.
The match that you're going to play right now, you might have won or lost 3 months ago. Think about
Because
it.
of the preparation.
Because uh, your engagement, how much you really wanted to play this match that was going to happen in 3 months. Oh, I'm going to play a
Fantastic.
match in 3 months. What's my food? What's my routine? What's my everything? It's a preparation. And if you did the preparation, great. Like Ayrton Senna said, I am the fittest guy on this track. Let's race. I'm ready. I've
Perfect.
done my homework. I've done my homework. If
So
you do your
strong, sorry,
homework,
Carlos, to summarize, warm up, strong warm up, and then tactics and excellent preparation. So when the time comes, you are ready.
yeah, there's no bluffing. No, you
Like,
can't
hey,
bluff.
like this interview, because I'm always preparing my interviews. Do not
I
think that I'm
know.
just talking trash.
No, I know, and you do such a great job because you're dedicated. You
Thank you.
embraced you embrace this. You're a great coach. You have a great mind, and you're helping so many people think, because you're bringing, you're picking on good minds to hear things.
You.
And that's, well, thank you, thank you. If you think so,
Today
I thank
is
you.
you. Thank you, Carlos. But look, any advice for parents who are putting pressure on their kids, desperate for results?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a big area. It's so tough to be a parent. I admit, and I understand. And we are parents. We are so anxious, and we want so much, and we have to understand when to let go. And that's the most difficult thing. I don't know the advice that may work, but what I would say is that when your son goes goes to school and he has a math test, do you go and sit next to him and you try to coach him? No. Okay. Tennis is the same. But there's a problem that parents can watch their son or their daughter play. And since they are parents, they think they can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
They think they can interfere. They
Excellent.
can advise. They can advise. They can help. Oh, my poor son is crying because he lost a point. Let him cry. And
Oh, sorry, Carlos. Oh,
after,
sorry. Oh, talking about mistake. How he missed that forehand? How he double faulted? Or she?
yeah, that's even, that's only because they are allowed to watch their kids play. I think they have the right to do it, to watch. But the kid also should be respected to leave the comments for after the performance. Son, may I watch your match? Would you like me to watch your match? How many parents ask that? And most of the kids are going to say, yes, daddy, of course. But inside, maybe not, because they are pressured. I have players here that they're going to hit a forehand, they look at their father, And, the other day I said, do you think you help them being there or not? You know, tell me, be sincere. You think you help or you don't help? If you don't help, what are we going to do? If you help, okay, it's your son, it's your, I cannot tell you to leave. Some coaches say parents are not allowed. I don't like it. Then on the other hand, a kid, as soon as they understand that this is the father and the mother that God gave me, I have to live with it. Did you ask for this father and mother? No. Can you live with that without them? No. Well, live with them. Ignore, learn how to argue, grow up.
It's hard.
Which
Difficult,
is
Carlos. Difficult.
oh, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. But what can I say? That's your father, your mother. Yeah, they're a pain in the ass. It's your problem. Deal with it. I'm not going to interfere. I cannot interfere.
Yeah, there is a
I
limit
cannot.
that we have.
I
Exactly.
cannot interfere. I can only maybe talk and bring some good arguments and questions to to help. Who do we want to help? Me as a coach, I want to help the player. The parents, as parents, they want to help their kids. How can we work together?
Together.
How much sincerity can we use, because we want to benefit one person, the player. How can we join efforts to make this joint venture great?
Perfect, Carlos. And the last one. What, when you get a beginner, you receive a beginner in your class. Let's say you want to teach
I'll
a
send it to you.
beginner for the first
I'll,
time.
se- I'll send it to you.
Look, no, you have to answer. What would you teach first? What would you do first? I have no idea about tennis. I go with my tennis racket. Carlos Kirmayr, I want to have a lesson. Teach me how to play. I never played before. What do you teach me first?
What do I do first?
What do you do first with me? I have no idea how to play tennis.
I will talk to you, and start with introducing you a racket and a ball and your body and movements and something very, I will definitely not introduce you to a Western grip.
Perfect.
or teach you a kick serve.
Okay, Carlos. Fantastic. Carlos, thank you. Thank you so much. And appreciate. Hi to your family, your wife, your kids, your students. And I'm going to be uploading the interview in my YouTube channel. And big hug from California.
Yes. So
Please, someone who
I'm
said, say a special hi, Tito Vasquez. Can you
Wow.
please send a message to him now? He will love to hear from you here, Tito
Yeah.
Vasquez.
Well, I have been talking to him. I have been talking to him lately.
Okay.
He's a dear, dear friend. UCLA boy. UCLA and California dream times. And him and Lito Alvarez. Remember Lito?
Yeah.
And Tito is a dear life brother. That's what he is. We
Perfect.
met we met in Paraguay in 1965. That is, I
60,
don't know,
60 years ago.
60 years ago.
Wow.
6 years exactly. Yeah, and we crossed. I mean, we lived tennis together. Going to
Perfect.
college, both of us in California, and then being on the road, and then him coaching and me coaching, and so we have a lot of his stories together for sure.
And I don't want to leave you. I forgot this question. I just came to my mind. One strong, precise advice from a wise person like you for the coaches, tennis coaches. What would you advise them?
Only one.
Maybe two or three. I know you can offer millions,
Well,
but to finish this wonderful time.
I think tennis has become a great sport, but I don't see coaches engaged, really engaged. We are teachers, we are instructors, we are guides. So we have to have extra energy to to give, to give. And to give, we have to have received. Uh, to receive, we have to search, etc. I think a coach should play as much as he can to understand what it is to be in the position of the player. What is to be 30, 40 second serve, having lost a match, dead tired, all the situations that a player is. I think a coach has to have gone through to really, really understand and keep studying the game, keep being involved, stay curious. That's the only way we can help our players uh, more, and be, which means be engaged. Tennis, tennis is played on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. That's when things happen. To high performance, little league, adults, ladies, and if a coach is involved with their players, at one moment they have to be present and watch and support and understand more their players. I think that's one of the things that advices that I would give. Stay involved, engaged, willing to learn, willing to learn from other people or from the game, playing the game more. I think
And
that's
and last one, I promise you. Can someone who doesn't know how to play tennis teach tennis?
well. I sup- well, depends what you understand of what's your understanding of being taught tennis.
Teaching the fundamentals without knowing how to play.
Yeah, maybe fundamentals. You read a book but you don't know the feel. I think it's limited. I wouldn't teach. I wouldn't choose. It's like, can you learn English from somebody that doesn't speak English?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, let's learn together. Okay, I'll learn with you. Perhaps like that. Both of us will learn. because both of us don't know.
Yeah, but how can you demonstrate the strokes if you don't know how to play, right? That is my point also, right, Carlos?
Yeah, well, that's another point. That's why a player should play as much as possible and be as best as they can, because they will have contact and understand the difficulties that tennis is. Tennis is not easy. Tennis is not easy.
What makes tennis difficult?
I think the useless Englishman that had nothing to do and invented the damn game.
With the 15, the
What did you have
30s,
in
right?
mind? No, no, no. What did you have in mind? You know, the score. You know, what did he drink for breakfast? You know,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
crazy.
It's a
Carlos,
great game. Great. Thank you.
thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, and thank you.
I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. We'll see you in a few years. We'll talk some more.
Of course. I
Okay?
love you,
Or
man,
any
and hi to your
or
family. Hi, bye,
or
everybody.
anytime.
I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Take
Thank
care.
you, everybody, for
Bye,
listening.
I'm going to
Thank you.
share the link to you so you can share it in your academies right now.
Beautiful. Great. Thanks.
I love you, man. Bye. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.